Okay. Larry.
Yeah, now if I may continue, the Code of Ethics, and this is part of why your audit is being held up.
It's not held up. It's complete. It's done. It's issued.
Yeah,
It's
well,
clean.
it hasn't been issued. I talked
It's
to Dennis
good.
Hovan before, but
So,
I'm going to go
Larry,
back to.
just so that
I'm not
people
talking about your
understand
financial.
Can we not tackle each other?
So-
Okay,
Sharon-
then I
Just
have the
wait.
floor, and
People-
I had the floor. Sharon, can you hold back?
Okay,
I have the floor, and you interrupted me, so-
Larry, let me run the meeting, okay? Now, point of order. Larry did have the floor, but Sharon was also talking. So, Sharon, is your point brief so we can go back
It
to Larry?
is.
Go ahead.
The audit is complete. It's done. It's correct. It's issued. So don't say that it's delayed. It's not delayed anymore. Everything is ready to go.
Thank you. Larry.
Okay, I did talk to Mr. Hovan today, and he said you didn't have it in your hands today yet. It wasn't presented, and it is being held up, and it is being reviewed by the state auditor. So at that time, part of the problem that was there, and I am the reason that this is being held up.
No kidding.
Yeah, and so what I would talk is the Attorney General. Sharon, you came here in January, and you stated that the Code of Ethics was required because
I said.
you said it was required for part of the audit, and then you turned around and said that, well, it wasn't the state audit, it was our city auditor. There's two documents out here, got it signed by both the state and our city auditor that did not require it. So your Code of Ethics was based on a lie. Now, the other issue that was, and so the citizens understand, there was a $25,000 payment to Raleigh Trucking that was made in September. A second payment was
Mr. Mayor,
remade
weren't we going to talk
in
about
air.
these at
In other
the
words,
special meeting?
Sharon,
Correct.
you're being audited. We just are getting this now. I tell you what, it's my recommendation between you and the city administrator that I'd suggest resignation from board league staff members
okay.
who hold important positions in our city. As the Code of Ethics and Conduct requires reporting any prohibited acts, the state auditor will be looking into many more violations.
Yeah, and we're not going to do that. And
They have a
Sharon, you
list
can.
and they will be looking at.
You're done. Okay, Sharon, did you have a comment then last? And then that'll be it on that.
You know, I think that we could talk about this at the special meeting, but the Code of Conduct was based on information that the state auditor sent out about legal compliance.
Well, if
Okay,
you,
we're
if
not-
you
we're not-
read
we're
the
not having a
document
discussion. You had your
provided,
time.
most of your people
I'm
You
got
had
it.
your
saying
time, Larry.
There
Thanks.
was a reason for our actions and being proactive within the city to have a policy on ethics. And it was voted on in January. You were here.
Absolutely, but the statement is, you said it was required by the state.
We're not talking about, Jeff had his hand up, he's next after
It
Sharon.
was based on a
All right,
lie.
thanks.
I'm sorry you misunderstood,
Yeah,
Larry.
okay. Jeff.
Larry, I have the floor. Remember Robert's rules and all that. I had to sign the exact same thing. We have the same auditor, Clifton Larson Allen, at the Cable Commission, and you're there too. You've seen these before. I had to sign a code of conduct at the Cable Commission, and we have 11, 12 members, and then we have alternates, so about 24 to plus staff. So we had about 30 people that signed this.
Is it required by the state?
I didn't call on you. Thank you. We had 25 people sign that, and of all those 25 people, not one of them, not one, had a problem with signing a simple code of conduct that they will follow some simple rules, not have conflicts of interest. Not one of them ever said a thing. You're the only one, Larry, who's ever really had a problem with the code of conduct. So, with that said, you seem to have another problem with the $25,000 credit being paid to Raleigh Trucking for some gravel. That was during the tenure of our last road commissioner, Mr. Bonin, who I have spoken with on this matter, and it seems as though it's a big nothing. And obviously, I do have a fully completed audit in my hand. So the audit has been completed, but I would ask, just on camera here, I'd like you to make that accusation to Mr. Bonin when he comes to our acceptance of this audit. Mr. Lanoux, and you can tell our former esteemed road commissioner, Mr. Bonin, how he apparently, what were your words? I want to make sure that I'm quoting you correctly, that it wasn't fraud, was it? What did you say was happening with that gravel?
You know, you're not gonna put words in my mouth.
Okay, well,
Jeff.
good. You don't want to describe it, that's fine. I'll describe it myself then. You're saying there's some type of irregularity with that payment. That's fine. Let's air that out. We'll have our accountant here, we'll have Mr. Bonin, our former road commissioner there, we'll have the administrator whom you've called on for some irregularities as well, and they can all explain to you what actually happened, and we can all sort of have our say at that point. Does that sound fair?